Hey, what's up? My name is Ryan. I'm a registered nurse and I just got my taxes back and I made $190-ish thousand as a registered nurse last year. So today I'm going to go get ready with me and also give you some tips and tricks on how to maximize your income as a registered nurse. So loyalty in the hospital does not pay, and the sooner that you realize that, the sooner you can maximize your income. So some of y'all know that I started in the ICU as a tech, and I'm so grateful that I did that simply because I learned this one lesson that has made such a huge difference in how I approach jobs in healthcare. So I worked with two nurses who had both started at the same time, and they both were making $23 an hour. So one of the nurses left and the other nurse stayed, and the one that stayed ended up learning how to precept, she learned how to charge, she became a leader on the unit. Then at the end of the year, she got a merit raise of 3% and started making $23.66 an hour. Well, then like a year later, the nurse who had left decided to come back to the hospital and she was offered $27 an hour. And like they were still friends. So obviously the first nurse who had never left found out that the nurse who had left and came back was making $4 more an hour than her. So she went to our manager. And she was obviously pissed. She said, "Hey, I precept, I charge. This other nurse left and came back, and she still makes more money than I do. I want a raise." And of course, the fucking manager was like, "Well, I don't control pay. That's, an HR thing." And honestly, I don't even know if the manager ever even elevated it to HR. I just know that HR doesn't give a shit. Like, they look at nurses as disposable. All that to say, the loyal nurse kept doing more work for less money than the nurse who had left and come back. I remember watching that whole thing unfold, thinking to myself, I will never let that happen to me. Like, I see how you hospitals move, and I'm gonna move accordingly. So what do I do that is different? So one of the first things that I did was I stopped depending on the hospital for benefits. I bought private health insurance for like $250 a month. I went through my friend Paula. She's linked in my bio. She can give you a free quote for anywhere across the country. I started talking to a financial planner for retirement purposes. Essentially, I stopped needing the hospital. I went PRN, immediately upped my income $10 an hour. The second thing that I did that really brought my income up was I started travel nursing and doing local contracts. Like, a lot of people hear that I made $190,000 last year and they think, oh my gosh, you had to like travel all over to Timbuktu. Like, no, I stayed at home every day last year. Like, I did commute every day, but I slept in my own bed every night. The best way to find high-paying opportunities in your area is to be open to working in different specialties. If you're an ICU nurse, that might mean you have to take a PCU contract. You can find different travel opportunities directly on hospital websites. You can go through travel agencies and just ask them for local rates instead of travel rates. But the best way that I've ever found to find nursing jobs has been through networking. Keep in touch with old coworkers and never burn your bridges. On the flip side of that, when you find a great opportunity that you can't take, forward it to someone you know that can. I'm running out of time, so comment for part 2.